Brian May from Queen has one of the most recognizable sounds of all time, and that's thanks in part to his amazing knowledge of the power of the prebend. There's 3 reasons in particular you should start adding prebends into your soloing, and we're going to talk about them today. See if you can count how many are in the Bohemian Rhapsody solo alone. Well, hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Prebending is a technique that's used in just about every style of guitar playing, and it's definitely something you should be adding into your soloing. It's part of the reason why players like Brian May, Slash, and Francis Bubbletrousers are so expressive and emotive with their playing. And we're going to show you why that is on today's video. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today for all kinds of bonus stuff like extra videos, downloadable tabs, backing tracks, and so much more. This week, everybody who supports my channel is going to get a ton of awesome stuff. You're going to get my transcription of Brian May's Bohemian Rhapsody solo, which is, I'm going to say, close enough for rock and roll. And you're also going to get a very special Patreon-only exclusive video delving into one of my favorite music theory topics that it seems like most guitar players don't know the answer to: sharp versus flat. Why do we use one instead of the other sometimes? It is a shockingly simple answer, and you're going to find out about it if you support me over on Patreon, even for just $1 a month. Don't delay. Sign up today. I'm using my custom Suhr Modern T, which is one of the most glorious guitars ever made. Look at that neck. I love this thing. And I'm playing that into the Synergy Morgan AC module. And out in front of it, I don't have any kind of treble booster, so I'm using the Pepers pedals Dirty Tree, which is a really weird pedal to choose for this. It's what I use to make my Mesa Boogie dual rectifier sound like a murder machine. It's like one of the most aggressive pedals ever, but it does add a nice amount of top-end sizzle to these British AC type tones. So let's just go with it. That right there is the first pre-bend that Brian does in that solo. So what he's doing here is grabbing the E flat note, but yanking it up to F before he even picks it. So this is one of the things about pre-bending that you have to know and understand, is how it fundamentally changes the tone of the string. Check this out. Let me play the lick without the pre-bend instead. I'm just going to fret the F note. Versus. You'll notice that the pre-bent note just has more weight to it than just hitting that note with a normal fretted approach. And that is because whenever we bend the string, we are literally adding tension to it. Now, I'm going to totally BS the numbers right here because I'm no mathematician, but like, let's just say that this high E string usually has 10 pounds of tension on it, right? Well, whenever I grab that note and I bend it up one whole step, the string is now way tighter than it was just a second ago. It's almost like I bumped up my string gauge just to hit a single note. Yin Yang Valvoline is a prime example of this. The guy plays like 21 fret strats all the time, right? But he's all the time playing those massive high E notes at the end of those single string runs. And he's doing that by playing that 21st fret with a 1.5 step bend. He's making that string ultra mega tight for that final high note, and it sounds so much better than it would if he was just playing fret number 24 like that. That right there is another reason to use pre-bends. The let down. It's the sound that we get whenever we have a note that's up and suddenly is being yanked down into place to its starting point. In that case, Brian's starting off with the note pre-bent to C from the note B flat and letting it down. Again, it's a very different sound than doing a pull-off. That's more like articulate sounding, or even a slide. The letdown gets us into all that delicious microtonal goodness that we get whenever we're taking a note and letting it down and pulling it off the edge of the fretboard like I did just a second ago. That ability to tap into the microtonal goodness is what separates us from those animals known as keyboard players, so I say we should take advantage of it and do it as much as we can. That lick right there is a prime example of the third benefit of doing the pre-bend. It's the way it changes our vibrato sound. This is maybe the most important element of why everybody should be doing pre-bends in their soloing, because the vibrato sound is totally different. Let's say with that run right here, right? Which concludes on that high C note. If Brian would have just walked up and then put some vibrato on it, that's what it would have sounded like. Versus this. It's a hugely different sound in the vibrato, and here's why. So whenever you fret a note, I'm gonna take it down just so it's not as ear piercing. Whenever you fret a note and you shake it, add some vibrato on there, right? The note is going above pitch. Let's say this is in tune. Whenever you shake a fretted note, it is going above pitch every single time. It's going sharp. We're gonna call that sharp vibrato. Now, whenever you have a note that is being bent into place and you add vibrato to it, it's different. Because what you're doing is you're taking the note up to pitch, lowering it, bringing it back up to pitch over and over. It's flat vibrato, okay? Again, here's the difference. This is going above pitch, a little more mosquito-y. This is going under pitch, which is more like a singer uses. This is more like the sound that we all like to hear in good vocalists. Like Rob Halford's like a perfect example. Really beautiful, even, consistent, flat vibrato. He's starting off on pitch, going slightly under, back to pitch, slightly under, over and over. That's a sound that's more appealing to the human ear than overshooting the pitch. That's where you get that mosquito, like, you know, Tiny Tim kind of vibrato sound, rather than something that sounds really robust and melodic sounding. You can actually get a similar sound if you use your tremolo bar, vibrato bar, wang bar, kickstand, whatever you want to call it, for your vibrato, because with the bar, you can knock the note a little flat over and over, you know, just like you do with the flat vibrato sound of a pre-bend. But you don't get that extra bonus effect that we talked about earlier of the string suddenly being tighter and sounding bigger than it did just a moment ago. So there's really no replicating the sound of this flat style vibrato without using pre-bends. Such a beautiful solo, and again, it's made all the more impactful by all those lovely, immaculately placed pre-bends that are all over that thing. Again, get the transcription for that over on the Patreon page. Now, some of you guys might be asking, how do you practice this stuff, right? Because here's the thing, if your pre-bends suck and you're bending the note not up to where you're trying to, but over or under, actually, that's kind of bluesy. That's sort of nice. Let me do another example here. That sounds terrible. Also terrible. That one made it there at the end. If you're not doing this stuff correctly, it can sound absolutely terrible. So one thing that I recommend doing is, as you're practicing your pre-bends, plug your guitar up to an electronic tuner. That could be a headstock tuner if it reads really fast, or your tuner pedal. I like the good old Boss tuner pedal, or the TC Polytune is what I have on my board. And what you want to do here is to play the note you're going to try to bend to. Like, let's say the G note. And then go under that by a whole step, pre-bend, hit the note, and see if you were right by checking the tuner. That tuner is going to tell you if you're below or if you're above, and then you can kind of adjust your grip to get it exactly in tune, and do that over and over and over until you like lose all your friends and your family is worried about you and your face is on a milk carton, and then you get these things in tune and correct and sounding really good, and then maybe other guitar players will pay attention to you, and that's probably about it. But it is important because it does sound freaking cool. So you'll want to do that with half steps and whole steps especially. So do like G, half step below, G, whole step below, and do that, you know, with all different notes and on all different regions of the fretboard, because the tension of the string changes as you go up and down the neck. I always tell people to think about a string as behaving like a trampoline, where it's bounciest in the middle. Your string is its most pliable at the 12th fret, and then as you get closer to the ends of the string in either direction, the tension gets higher and higher. So just because you master the pre-bend here doesn't mean the same thing will apply down here or on a different string or on a different scale length guitar or whatever. So be sure to practice this stuff very, very thoroughly. The tuner thing is great. It can get a little bit boring, I guess. Another really great idea is just to turn on some of your favorite backing tracks, or like over on my Patreon, I've got a whole slew of different drone tracks that are just a single note or a single chord. And you can practice this stuff against those, because that's going to give you a reference and tell if you're getting this stuff in tune or not. And it's a little bit more musical than, say, practicing with your tuner. But all those things are going to help you become a pre-bend master, just like our hero, Mr. Brian May. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and helping yourself become a prince or princess of pre-bending. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold, and don't forget to support my channel over on that Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Again, you'll get the transcription of the solo, plus that extra bonus video with one of the most important music theory related questions that's ever been asked. So, treat yourself, don't cheat yourself, don't delay, sign up today, do the thing, thank me later. Thanks as always for watching. Now get away from the dang old computer machine and go play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.